News.
I'm Derek Kaufman, and this is the TMZ Minute. Heidi Klum and her daughter Lenny are facing backlash for posing together in another lingerie campaign. The two star in Intimissime's fall-winter campaign with a fun video capturing the mother-daughter duo having a blast together while showcasing the brand's sexy lace pieces. However, Lenny and the company have received criticism over the snaps on their respective Instagram pages, with some calling the campaign weird. Bianca Censori's mom stepped out in Australia after news of Kanye West's alleged lewd remarks about her came out. Alexandra Censori was seen running errands in the wake of allegations that Kanye expressed a desire to have sex with her. Alexandra was recently asked to respond to the claim, which was made in a lawsuit filed by the rapper's former assistant, but Bianca's mom refused to engage. Former child star Jake Lloyd has been spotted for the first time in over a year. TMZ obtained photos of the actor who played Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars prequel, and he looked to be keeping a low profile. This comes a year after Jake previously sought treatment at a mental health facility. I'm Derek Kaufman, and that was the TMZ Minute.
Fox Weather.
I'm Fox Weather meteorologist Stephen Morgan with the latest from America's Weather Center. With only a handful of days since Hurricane Milton made landfall along Florida's Gulf Coast, the next several days will finally feature quieter weather in the Sunshine State. A dry and even slightly cooler pattern is arriving behind a strong cold front. 70s and 80s going to be more common from Orlando to Tampa, south into Miami. The best news, rain. It's going to stay out of the forecast most of the week, with isolated rain chances not returning until Friday for South Florida. And this sprawling fall front that we're feeling across much of the country is growing the fire danger through the South Central Plains. The greatest risk is going to be along the Red River between Texas and Oklahoma, north through Wichita and even Kansas City. While temperatures will be cooler, that dry air and gusty wind could lead to the spread of fires if they're sparked tonight and Wednesday. Get the latest weather updates anytime, anywhere. Download the Fox Weather app at foxweather.com.
Listen to the all-new Bret Baier podcast featuring Common Ground, in-depth talks with lawmakers from opposite sides of the aisle, along with all your Bret Baier favorites like his all-star panel and much more. Available now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Push in battleground states. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Just 3 weeks until Election Day, and Vice President Harris is in Detroit being interviewed by Charlemagne the God in an iHeartRadio town hall. She defended her tactic of repeating talking points at rallies, saying until someone has heard the same thing 3 times, it doesn't stay with them.
At my rallies, I say the same thing when I go to Detroit as I do in Philly, as I do wherever I am, to make sure that people hear and receive what I think are some of the most critical issues that are at stake in this election.
Former President Trump set to rally next hour in Georgia.
The campaign is pushing early voting. I am told that's going to be a big part of today's messaging at this rally today. Now, he is getting some help from Governor Brian Kemp, very popular here in Georgia. And sources close to Governor Kemp's office confirm to Fox News that he is ramping up his political network to turn out the vote.
Fox's Aisha Hasni. The Georgia Secretary of State's office says the state has set a record for early voting with 224,000 ballots cast as of 3:30 p.m. today. Former President Trump will take part in a Fox News town hall tomorrow, hosted by Harris Faulkner. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern on the Faulkner Focus. Vice President Harris will be interviewed by Fox's Bret Baier tomorrow. That interview will air during Special Report at 6 p.m. Eastern. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says the owner of a dog who was tied to a fence on I-75 as waters rose around the animal during Hurricane Milton now faces animal cruelty charges.
You don't just tie up a dog and have them out there for a storm. Totally unacceptable.
The dog's former owner, Giovanni Garcia, told authorities he left the dog because he couldn't find anyone to pick him up. The dog is safe and is at the Leon County Humane Society awaiting to be picked up after a state trooper saw it and freed it from the fence. America's listening to Fox News.
Kudlow on Fox Business is now on the go for podcast fans. Get key interviews with the biggest business newsmakers of the day. The Kudlow podcast will be available on the go after the show every weekday at foxbusinesspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
A Connecticut jury has ruled Johnson & Johnson must pay $15 million to a man who says that he developed cancer from its talc product. The Supreme Court has ruled one state's law that allows 18 to 20-year-olds from carrying weapons during emergencies won't stand.
Pennsylvania is one of many states that bars those under the age of 21 from purchasing handguns, but a state law said 18 to 20-year-olds should be allowed to carry guns during emergencies. That law was challenged, and a lower court said it couldn't stand, given the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in Bruin. Bruin said gun laws have to be consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearms regulation. The Pennsylvania court said since a similar law wasn't in place when the Second Amendment was ratified, it had to be overturned. But the U.S. Supreme Court disagrees, overturning that ruling and allowing the state law to stand. Justices issued the decision without explanation and with no noted dissents. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Hundreds of drugstores are set to close.
Walgreens will close 1,200 stores. It's part of the company's 3-year turnaround plan. It had 8,600 stores in June when it first revealed plans to downsize. Parent company Walgreens Boots Alliance lost $3 billion in the summer quarter. Drugstores have been impacted by low drug reimbursement rates. Walgreens also has been impacted by shoppers looking for bargains. Sales of groceries and other items at Walgreens stores were down 1.7%. The company expects its healthcare business and international business to grow, though it sees its retail pharmacy business slowing. Ginny Coselda, Fox News.
Forecasters for NASA say we could see more northern lights in unusual places as the sun is currently at the maximum phase of its 11-year cycle. This active period expected to last for another year, though when solar activity will peak won't be known until months after the fact. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Listen to the all-new Brett Baier podcast featuring Common Ground, in-depth talks with lawmakers from opposite sides of the aisle, along with all your Brett Baier favorites like his all-star panel and much more. Available now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Shares of Europe's biggest tech firm, ASML, suffering its biggest one-day drop since 1998, after warning of weaker-than-expected sales. The company is the largest supplier of equipment used to manufacture chips. NVIDIA shares tumbling Tuesday after reaching a record high. Bloomberg is reporting that the chip maker may face more limitations on exports of its artificial intelligence chips to some countries. AMD and Intel stock also dropping. Shares of Apple hitting a record high Tuesday thanks to its highly anticipated AI-powered iPhones. Following its big rally Monday, the stock market retreating Tuesday. The Dow ending down 325, S&P 500 down